Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I am Sadia Hussain, lecturer, Department of Finance and Banking. Today I am going to discuss chapter 10, which is Commercial Bank. This is lecture number 1. My dear students, today I am going to discuss chapter 10, an introduction to commercial bank. This is our lecture number 2. In this lecture, I will discuss functions of commercial banks. There are two types of functions, main functions and special and other functions. Also, the sources of fund of commercial banks and sources of income of commercial bank and sources of expenditure of commercial bank. Main functions of commercial bank: receiving deposit and payment of interest. One of the main functions of commercial banks is to accept the savings of holders in various types of deposits such as current, savings and fixed account. A bank pays interest to the holders of fixed and savings accounts on their deposited amounts in certain rates. No rate of interest is allowed for the current account holders, but this account holder may receive various types of extra facilities from the bank. Then, creation of capital. Bank creates capital by accumulating all separate savings of people through different accounts. Granting loans and charging interest. This is another important functions of commercial bank. Here banks offer loans to the borrowers from the deposited money of their client in various terms, such as for 3 months, such as for 1 year or less, more than 5 years, 10 years. Granting loan is an important function because by providing loans, a bank facilitates productive economic activities on one hand, and on the other, the amount of interest received from the borrowers is its main sources of income. Creation of loan deposit. When a bank sanctions a loan to the customer, a deposit account is opened in his name and the amount is credited to his account. Then, the amount of money withdrawn by the borrower is debited from that account. In this way, banks create deposits by sanctioning loans. Creating medium of exchange. Bank creates medium of exchange by check, bill of exchange, certificate of deposit, bank draft, pay order, debit card, credit card, etc. Issue notes. Commercial bank doesn't directly involve in this function, but commercial bank helps indirectly to central bank for issuing notes, because commercial bank creates medium of exchange which is an alternative to notes issued by the government. Service as a trustee. Commercial banks serves as a trustee of properties of their customers and issue solvency certificates to them. Assistance in import and export. An importer needs to convert local currency into foreign currency, while an exporter needs to convert foreign to local currency, which is one of the functions of banks. Moreover, banks arrange for payment to the exporters on behalf of the importers through letter of credit. Letter of credit plays an important role in international trade by creating financial and business connections between importers and exporters. Providing operating assistance and suggestions in import and export related functions are representative jobs of commercial banks. Service as a government treasury. Central bank or any other selected bank serves as a treasury of the government. Change bill of exchange. Banks change bills of exchange by barter in favor of its clients to support business and commerce. Apart from these main functions, There are also some functions of commercial banks, such as investment of capital. Besides disbursing loans, banks invest capital in industrial plants and commercial organizations, which help increase gross national product and capital mobilization. Role in economic growth. Banks help a country's overall economic growth, especially development of trade, commerce, transportation, communication, housing and education, etc. Money transfer. Banks transfer money inside and outside the country through their medium of exchange, such as bank overdraft, traveler's check, traveler's letter of credit, etc. Guidance. Offering various types of business guidance when sought by the clients and management of their properties. For example, collecting house rents are also included in the functions of banks. Moreover, paying utility bills, gas bills, water supply bills of clients is also a functions of commercial banks. Apart from this, there are some other functions such as employment generation, loan regulation, agricultural and industrial development, regional development, etc. My dear students, this topic is very much important for your any kind of exam. This is sources of funds of commercial bank. First one is paid capital. This is the first and foremost sources of banks, which is paid capital. We can call it also a paid up capital. It is a starting fund or starting sources of funds of commercial banks. The capital is provided by the owners for joint stock company, and in cases of joint capital company, capital is formed by issuing various types of shares. Second one is reserve fund. At the time of declaring dividend, a certain portion of the profit is set aside every year, which is called reserve fund. This fund is used as capital in future. Third one is deposits. Public deposits are a powerful sources of funds to a commercial bank. There are three types of bank deposits: current, saving, and last one is time or term deposit, which the clients do not withdraw all at once. So, the bank can earn more capital by using this money as loans or business investment. Last one, but most important source is borrowings. Commercial banks in times of emergency borrow loans from the central bank or from commercial banks of the country. They can also raise funds by issuing security bonds, credit certificates, etc. My dear students, this is the last topic of our today's lecture. First one is sources of income, that means sources of income of commercial banks. Commercial bank can earn money by different businesses such as interest on loans. That means commercial banks when lend money to the industrialist, traders or consumers and charge interest on the loans. This is their main sources of income. Then commercial banks can earn profit by investing in profitable sectors like shares, issuing letters of credits, government security, etc. They can also earn money by making discounted payment of bills of exchange in advance. Commercial banks can also earn big amount of money by charging commissions on bank overdrafts, bank drafts, travelers' checks, etc. They can also earn money by acting as a correspondence on behalf of their clients, rent of lockers, agency services, brokerage in purchase or trade of shares, foreign exchange, that means in case of export and import, converting one currency into another, issuing letter of credit, acts as a trustee, etc. Then, sources of expenditure. Commercial banks can also earn expenditure in operating its business, giving interest to the clients on their deposits, giving interest to the central bank on the borrowed amount, auditors' charges, allowances of directors and managers, payment of salaries and allowances to the employees, charges for cases or other legal measures for collecting unrecovered loans, giving interest to the central bank on the borrowed amount. My dear students, that's all for today's class. My dear students, that's all for today's class. If you have any kind of questions or queries, you can contact me or you can ask me in our Zoom class. Allah Hafiz.